We play and call it work.
Hello there, Wargamers, and welcome to another remote Battalion Battle Report, but it's between Josh and myself. We're kind of getting used to this, but the day draws near where we can record yet again, once together in our fancy studios. Then I get to use other armies than the ones I brought home, because I so badly want to play my Necrons, but I can't yet. So we got something special for you today. Before I quickly lose track of what I want to talk about, we're playing 1,000 points, only battalions. I'm playing Death Guard. Josh is playing Deathwatch. That's why I feel bad, because whenever someone plays Deathwatch, I kind of feel obligated to play Xenos. I don't know if anyone at home gets that feeling as well. You know, if someone plays Chaos, you want to play Space Marines. If someone plays Eldar, you might want to play Necrons, right? Or if someone plays Deathwatch, like Josh here, you want to play Xenos of any kind, typically.
Faction correctness is super important, but we were talking about this off camera before, that you probably have some Xenos artifact that you're playing around with, or, you know...
Essentially.
There's something Xenos related here, even if it's kind of just a little bit of a close tie that we're getting called in to come deal with this.
That's the easiest way to explain it, but faction correctness, like Josh said, is very important. Now, there's been a lot of releases from Games Workshop pertaining to 9th edition, the new rules to change and all that, and I'm assuming a lot of you at home who are actively playing are probably implementing these new rules, and you know what? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to implement as many that are relevant to our list. You got to remember, we only have 1,000 points in our lists, so there's not going to be that much change, but Josh does have a flyer, and I do have a Dreadnought, so those will be coming to play, and we're going to try to heavily explain those as much as we can as we're playing, and we're only going with the limited information that everyone else also has access to. So hopefully you guys enjoy this game. Sit back, relax, let's go take a look at the list and play some Warhammer 40k. We're going to start this off by taking a peek at my Death Guard list for this 1,000 point Battalion Battle Report. The foundation of the Battalion Battle Report is you just have one battalion and you have 1,000 points. It's very easy to explain. You just typically have more infantry based lists, and then you'll find one vehicle, which is exactly what Josh has as well, except for a Dreadnought. He's got a flyer. The Corvus Black Star, I believe it's called, and I just have my Hellforge Contemptor. I kind of like don't leave home without it, and this will be a good, actually both those models will be good to show off some of the new rules coming out. And we're also gonna toy around with the terrain stuff as well. You kind of like, you know, the build your own terrain rules on certain pieces of terrain, and I'll try to explain all that when we show off the table and the deployment. Now, for my list, it is led by these two HQs over here. I am playing this guy here as a Chaos Sorcerer, and these are Horus Heresy Death Guard. Obviously, they're not as corrupt as your modern day 40k Death Guard, but they got the original color scheme and they are Death Guard in one way. I just brought these guys home because they worked both for Horus Heresy and for 40k. He is going to be equipped with that Combi Flamer, as you see there, and a Force Sword. He is going to know Miasma of Pestilence, as well as Blades of Putrefaction for his 2 psychic powers. Now, he is going to have my Army Relic. I'm going to figure that out at the end, though, because it's between the Pandemic Staff or the Separating Plate, and I'll let you guys know at the end there. Now, here we have, this is Typhus, or Typhon, Callus Typhon, back in the day. He is going to be acting as a Lord of Contagion with the 3 damage. I think it's called the Plague Reaper. It's the one he doesn't start with. He's got a Plague Reaper. It's like strength 6 minus 3 damage instead of like D3 damage, but like strength 7. And I don't think strength 7 is going to matter all that much. For troop choices, I got 3 squads of Plague Marines, 2 of 7, 1 of 6. In each squad, it's kind of what you see is what you get, in a way. We have a Plague, ignore that weapon there, that he can't actually take that, but he has a Bale Sword on the Aspiring Champion, the Plague Champion here, and then 2 of them have Plague Spears, and then there's just 4 with Bolt Guns. And then in the back squad, that Power Scythe is going to be a stand-in for a Power Fist, so you can have a Bolt Gun Power Fist, 2 Plague Spears, and then 4 Bolt Guns. And then in the back, I couldn't afford a 7th Marine, so we just have 5 with Bolt Guns, and the Plague Champion is going to have a Power Scythe, subbing in as a Power Fist. We have a Hellforge Contemptor Dreadnought. He is going to have a Carries Pattern Assault Cannon. He is going to have a Dreadnought Close Combat arm, and inside of that arm, he's going to have the Ectoplasma Blaster for Chaos, the Chaos Hellforged. And lastly, the 2 additions to my army that I am always a big fan of are 2 squads of Death Shroud Terminators, 3-man squads. The champions of the unit are allowed to take 2 Plague Burst Gauntlets, so they do. And that's it. That's 1,000 points of Death Guard. Oh, I forgot to tell you my Warlord trait. So my Lord of Contagion here is going to be my Warlord, and I'm going to go with Revoltingly Resilient on him. So he has a 4-up to ignore wounds and a 5-up to ignore mortal wounds with his Disgusting Resilience. And lastly, for our Sorcerer, let's go ahead and roll off for his Relic. It's between the Pandemic Staff and the Separating Plate. On a 4-up, I'll take the Plate. On a 1 to 3, I'll take the Pandemic Staff, and I'll just explain what it does. Boop. So we get, well, that was the staff, right? Yeah. So he's taking the staff, which means he gets +1 whenever he casts Smite. And that's it. That is 1,000 points of the Death Guard. Let's go take a look at the Deathwatch.
Here's my 1,000 points worth of Deathwatch. I will admit I am more than a little bit rusty with them, but you know what? I think we will hopefully still have a decent showing today. So starting off the list, we've got the HQs. I've got a Watch Captain. Excuse me. He will be my Warlord, taking the Lord of Hidden Knowledge, which is basically the once per game reroll and then getting a command point back on a 5 every time I use a stratagem. He is armed with a Xenophase blade as well as a Mastercrafted bolt gun. Next to him is a Watch Master. Can't take any options on him for war gear, but he is carrying the relic, the Osseous Key. Next up, let's take a look at some troops here. We've got a squad of interceptors. Nothing special. Sarge's got a chainsword, and that's about it. Veteran squads, I've got 3 here. They're all kind of a little bit oddball, but starting with the big one here, we have got a Watch Sergeant with a Storm Bolter and Storm Shield, and then 2 Marines that are armed the exact same way. Vanguard Vet with a pair of Lightning Claws, and then I have 3 Vets with Frag Cannons and a Terminator with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. Behind them is another veteran squad, just 5-man squad. We've got chainswords all around and the Stalker Bolters. Last squad behind them, it's the exact same setup. We got 5 Marines with Stalker Bolters and chainswords. For anybody that's got a regular sword, I just use them as chainswords. And then we got a Vanguard Vet with Twin Lightning Claws and 4 Bikers armed with chainswords. Last but certainly not least, we've got the Corvus Blackstar. I love them. They're kind of ugly in a way that, I don't know, I just like how they look. They were never really fantastic though, so hopefully the new rules help them out a little bit, balance the playing field a bit. But he is armed with a Auspex Array, Hurricane Bolter, Twin Assault Cannon, and the 2 Storm Strike missile launchers. And that is my 1,000 points worth of Deathwatch.
Alright, let's go figure out a scenario and set up for gameplay. Alright everyone, so Josh and I are set up for the Scorched Earth game. We ended up rolling up Scorched Earth, won with that. We rolled off Josh 1. He actually wanted to be the defender. And he ended up rolling up, what is it called? Search and Destroy. He picked this territory over here, obviously. And then I was forced to pick this one. And because he's the defender, I deployed first as the attacker. So I put 1 squad of Plague Marines on that objective. It's actually underneath him. Can't quite see it. It's right there. And then I have a Sorcerer in between the other squad of Plague Marines. We're going to be making their way to that objective. And then I have a 3rd objective back here in my territory on this piece of area terrain. And we're going to go over all the terrain in a moment here. I don't know if it's going to be good format to do that at the beginning of every game, or if we're going to end up just kind of explaining it as we go in the future, just because of the eventual terrain changes coming to the game. And like I said, Josh and I are going to be implementing some of the as much of the revealed 9th edition rules as we can with our armies. And one of those we can do is terrain, so we might as well. And that's one of my objectives back here. Now the way Scorched Earth works is, here's Josh's 3 objectives. He's got 1 there, 1 underneath this veteran, and then 1 over there near the Corvus Blackstar. So he ended up putting down the first objective. They go in no man's land. He put 1 over there. I put 1 over there. Again, no one's territory. And then we put down 2 objectives each in our own territory. So Josh put his down 2 there. I put my down 2 right here. Starting from the second battle round, each objective is worth 1 victory point at the start of your player turn if you control it using the normal rules for controlling an objective. However, if you control an objective in your opponent's territory, you can instead remove it from the battlefield, burn it, and it's worth 3 victory points as opposed to its 1. And then there's First Strike, Slay the Warlord, and Linebreaker. And that's it. That's it. Josh is the attacker, so he's going to get to decide who goes first. And if you're curious what his deployment is, he's got 5 vets with Stalker Bolt Rifles, Captain, Corvus Black Star. Inside of that Black Star is the Watchmaster, that really intricate veteran squad with the Terminators and the Vanguard vet. And that was pretty much it, I guess. And then the frag cans and all that good stuff. And then Josh combat squadded his 1 squad of vets. The bikes and the Vanguard vets stayed separate, and then the other squad used the teleport to go hide away, and so did the Intercessors. So we have the Intercessors and the 5-man squad of Stalker Bolt Rifles in the teleportarium, ready to show up wherever needed, in the rest of the course of this game, starting from the second battle round and going forward. And then for myself, my Death Shroud Terminators, both squads, and my Warlord, Lord of Contagion, is also awaiting a way to arrive later on in this game. Now, Josh, you have all the power here. Would you like to go first, or would you like to go second?
Well, I'm going to ponder my options as I wonder, wasn't I the defender? Because I picked what side.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He won the roll off. I'm all thrown off because he won the roll off. Want to be the defender? Not that that's a bad choice. It's just typically I don't have. I lost the roll off, so I don't have any deciding power. Now I get to decide who's going to go first, and I'm definitely going to go first, unless Josh can seize the initiative. All right, so here is Josh's seize. No.
Oh no.
You know what? I would like to see them get rid of that 9th edition. I think everyone's kind of donezo with C's, but we'll see. Maybe they'll stick around. It adds a twist to the game, but not necessarily a healthy one, in my opinion.
It's not a fun twist. It's oh cool, I lost the game.
Yeah. It's not always an automatic loss, but it's kind of like, there's some people out there that love the C, they love getting C's for whatever reason, a C's, that's so wild. But a lot of people are like, great, awesome, super fun, glad we're here to set up for this, right? I
like the rule, but in practice, it just seems to make people more sour than have people enjoy it, so get rid of it.
I agree. I don't actually I don't care if I get seized against. I just hate. I used to hate the face of my opponents whenever I would seize. Then I'd see it. I'm like, you know what? Don't actually care. I don't want to seize. We'll scrap that. And there'd be a lot of times where I'm like, you know what? Forget it. You go first instead. I'm not here. I'm not here to have a bad time. So I'm going to go first. This can be Death Guard turn 1. And the first turn of this game is typically repositioning to get yourselves on objectives because you can't score them on the first battle round. First thing I'm going to do is worry about them because they're one of the major threats I have to deal with. This Hellforge Contemptor Dreadnought is pretty well equipped to do that. He is going to move 9 inches in this direction, getting them within range of his Ectoplasma Blaster, and then moving, I'll say this way, I suppose. Oh, you know what? I forgot to talk about the terrain. We're using the new terrain rules, so they have traits you put on terrain, things like obscuring or light cover or hard cover or I believe it's called scalable, destructible, and
they haven't shown up the scalable stuff or anything like that.
Right. So we're not too concerned about that. I'm going to assume the scalable means you can climb up it. If there was a building with multiple layers and balconies or outcroppings, then yeah, that would probably be scalable, right? Or if it had stairs or whatever. I don't know. We're not too concerned about that in this game because we don't have a lot of tall terrain that you can stand on other than climbing up rocks. We're just going to use the old rules for that for the most part. We'll say it's scalable. There we go. We'll just say it's scalable, and we'll assume that scalable means you can climb up it using you just measure up the side and all that good stuff. But we are going to use obscuring and light cover, and we're going to say that we're not going to say anything's a hill because hills don't really impact the game too much. We're going to say that these are all obstacles, area terrain. For the most part, we'll just say they're area terrain. These guys here. And
area terrain that provides light cover.
Yeah. So all the rocks that you're standing on are area terrain that provides light cover. So if you're standing completely on top of it, you'll get light cover. Obviously, if you're behind it, you're just going to be obscured, not be able to be shot at all because it's taller than the models are itself. We're going to say that this is area terrain as well, but we're going to give it the obscuring trait as well as this piece and this piece here. So those 3 pieces are all obscuring. Now, I don't think it's going to matter that much for this piece that I think about it, but it's going to matter more for these 2 pieces because they have these large archways that you can see through. You can see through gaps over here and everything. This is the new obscuring rule. If Josh has a model, say there, shooting at a model I have over here, and he draws line of sight through any piece of this terrain, even though you can see through this gap, typically, you're not allowed to shoot through it. The shot is just not clear enough. It's not worth wasting your time. It's better to shoot at something that's clear, right? Why waste shots at something that you're not going to get to when you can shoot at another target nearby? So that's what obscuring does. That's going to be on this one here, and that one there. Now, this is also area terrain, all three of these. So if you do enter it, you're going to get light cover still, but you're able to shoot out of it, and you're able to get shot at. And that's pretty much it. Like, the rules aren't that complex for what we're using. They've only shown off a few bits of it, but I do like the obscuring trait. Now, the clause for the obscuring trait is the piece of terrain has to be at least 5 inches tall. Oh, forgot to note, we're going to say that all the trees are obstacle and obscuring as well. So all the trees, they're all at least tall enough. You can't shoot through them either way. So even if you're right behind it, you can't shoot through it. It's just they're protecting you, and that's all it's really meant to do. So all the sets of trees you see up can't get shot through. This piece here, that piece there can't get shot through, and technically that one can't either, but I don't really think it could because it's just solid at the bottom anyways. And everything will give cover. If it looks like it gives cover, we'll note that if it comes up. Now we are ready to start this game, I believe, and get the show on the road. Alright, Hellforce Commander Dreadnought's going to move his 9 inches, already pre-measured. He's going to go to about there. These guys here are probably going to advance to that objective, unless I can make it in a move, but I don't believe I can, because they only move 5. And I believe, yeah, I have to get within 3, so they are going to have to advance, so they're not going to be firing this turn. Because I need to get on position onto that objective, they're going to move an extra 6. That does help. They move 11 inches. We are going to commit pretty far to this. We're going to go right up here. We're going to try and claim some cover from this obstacle, from anyone shooting at us from across it. Now, the one thing they didn't really cover is how close do you have to be for an obstacle. Is it going to be like 7th edition, where, say, my guys are like over here, and this thing's in the way of shooting? Do I get cover if we call it light cover?
I believe that they do talk about drawing line of sight through, and since they don't mention having to be close, I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
I would hope so. That way, things that are on 32mm bases, it is very hard for them all to get within an inch of a piece of terrain to really claim cover from that being an obstacle. So I think this would be better. I miss that old cover system a lot more, where it was a little bit more relaxed, and you're kind of always getting cover and all that stuff. Like, there's pretty much, cover was always relevant. It went from always active and always being a part of the game to very rarely included. That's where they end up. They've advanced, and then we're going to move this squad. We're not going to advance them. So they're going to move 5. They're just going to move... it's going to take a few pot shots at the bikes, essentially. So I got to get within 24, but I also have to stay near the objective. You know what, on second thought, I can't have my cake and eat it too. I wanted to poke out and try and use the terrain to hide myself from them, but shoot at them. But any line of sight I would have drawn would have come through this piece of terrain, unless like I use like this one guy right here. I could take one shot in that direction. So I'm gonna have like 1 or 2 guys, only that one guy, because I'm only 24 inch range, so I'm very limited. So I'm gonna end my move there, have one guy be able to shoot, and that's pretty much it. I gotta figure out what I want to do with this sorcerer though, is the issue. So I was able to move that guy just a little bit further forward to get a second shot. Now, the shots aren't important. I don't expect 2 shots to do anything, but I kind of want to show how the terrain worked. So you can see the terrain kind of crops out a little bit over there. You got that big pillar in the way kind of helping as well to block some sight. So you're supposed to draw a 1mm line from the model you want to shoot with to the target you want to shoot with. And if that at any point, say, passes over the terrain, then that shot cannot be made. But as long as it does, then the shot is good. Now, what I'm trying to do is hide from these guys, so if you draw their shot and it ends up going through the terrain like it would, then they are obscured. But I'm losing majority of the shots because I'm trying to mostly hide behind the terrain and get the objective. In the end, it's just 2 bolt-gun shots. But I kind of wanted to try and mess around with the terrain rules a little bit here. They're going to stay there. Back to the sorcerer. I think he's just going to end up giving miasma to this dreadnought and calling it a day. Now, Josh has brought up a good point, because technically, if I'm on the terrain, they can be seen and shot at. But it doesn't say anything about like true line of sight still in that regard. So this is going to be like an experimental game, so it might be a little slowed down by discussions and whatnot. We're going to take this model here and put it right here, because this is a better example. Obviously, you can see through this giant arch here, right? But because this is obscuring, if this guy's right here, and I'm going to use this D6 over here, was a model for Josh's because I don't want to reach over there. Obviously, they can physically see each other through true line of sight, but because it's obscuring, this model cannot shoot at this model cannot shoot at this model. Now, if this model goes right here, then they can both shoot at each other. But that makes sense, there's a giant gap there. Now, in this case, if this is also obscuring, this model can't physically see this model can't physically see that model, so the obscuring might not matter. But then I'm curious if they're gonna have it act that way or not, and Josh brought that up. So to be safe, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep all the models off the terrain and just kind of use the footprint to protect them. Now, I'm going to hope that you would still need line of sight to shoot at something standing inside of an obscured piece of terrain. Like, be it woods, or be it ruins with windows and doors. In this case, it's a ruin, but it's got solid walls. So not too sure how the rule's going to work on that. We're going to err on the side of caution and just stand off of it. That way we get to benefit from the obscuring trait. And, you know, leave your insight down below. I would assume that that would still block line of sight, and Josh's are the same mindset, but he might be right in the fact that that might overcomplicate it, and they're like, no, if you're on the terrain, you can shoot out of it and you can get shot at, no matter what is there. So you could essentially just, like, you could, if you really wanted to, just play with, like, little templates you cut out, and then it's obscuring or not obscuring, but, you know, it's a little bit better to have it thematic.
It does feel like one of those, like, if they did it that way, would it make the game cleaner and potentially less immersive, because, you know, of trying to apply common sense? So it's one where I'm sure as they show off more terrain stuff, or like when the edition, you know, finally hits, it'll be more clear. But I mean, like right now, I don't know, we'll play around with it as, you know.
Yeah. So this is what I would say is the safest bet, though I would hope that, you know, once you're on obscuring terrain, you can get shot at, but I would still hope you need line of sight. But for now, we're going to keep it safe, stay off the terrain, and then just hopefully not get shot at. We'll see, though. All right, now to the Sorcerer. I'm going to go ahead and advance him to see where he ends up. He moves 1 extra inch. All right. So with that, we're going to take him out and around to here, because he needs to be visible to give miasma to this dreadnought here. So we're gonna bank on that, and we're gonna hope that. Well, the problem is the core is Black Star, right? So he gets to kind of pick. He could just fly over this piece of terrain, then shoot at these guys, shoot at those guys if he wants to. Not a huge fan of that coming my way, and I have no real defense against it. So I'm just gonna kind of let it fly around freely and do whatever it wants, because I don't have any answer to it, and hopefully it doesn't do too much damage. So we're gonna end up there, and we're gonna go into the psychic phase, and we're gonna start with miasma. That's our only power, because we're gonna be targeting him. And we made it so that where he landed, I have line of sight, not through the obscuring terrain. I don't know if obscuring terrain is gonna affect psychic powers. I assume it would. The article mostly pertains to shooting phase, but in this case, I tried to make sure I had line of sight with him still there, because miasma does require visibility to the target. So we're gonna fail that. Our pandemic staff only gives us +1 to cast smite because it's a good relic. But I'll try and re-roll that with a command point. A 2 becomes a 5. I don't believe you have any way to stop psychic powers.
No, I don't.
Okay, so that'll go off. That'll be the -1 to hit for the dreadnought. Hopefully that'll protect him a little bit. He's already a little defensive. And that's gonna bring him to shooting, where I'm gonna open up with the dreadnought, and he is gonna fire into the bikes and the Vanguard veteran there. He's gonna open up with his ectoplasma gun and then the carries afterwards. The ectoplasma gun is pretty much, it's assault 2, always supercharged plasma, but I don't take a mortal wound for every one I roll. I take it for any one I roll. So if it's only got 2 shots, so if I roll 2 ones, I only take the mortal wound once. But if I roll 1 I still take the same mortal wound. So he's got 2 shots on 2s. They both hit, and they wound on 3s because of your T5. I assume you use average toughness on. You still do that? Yeah. So T5. So 3s to wound. Double wound at -3 to the 8P, which should be 6 up saves.
Oof. Yep.
I assume the Vanguard vet and a bike dies.
No, we'll take 2 bikes.
2 bikes? From the back or from the front, or from, like, which ones do you want?
We'll take the 2 from the back.
2 from the very back? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and, before I move over there, I'm gonna roll the carries up as well. Alright, hitting on 2s with the carries. Oh, and by the way, so it's not gonna matter for me, but there's that new rule for big guns never tire where vehicles are relentless, and by relentless I mean they ignore moving and firing heavy weapons. Death Guard already do that, so I'm not really showing off my ignoring move. The only reason I'm not hitting on 3s is because I'm Death Guard, not because big guns never tire. But I will be able to shoot my guns in combat, which is kind of cool, which we'll hopefully see in this game. I don't get to reroll the 1. And these wound on 3s because they're strength 7 at AP 1. So I'm rolling like a god. And these are Josh's 4 up saves. So naturally Josh is going to fail 3 of those. That's a bike and a Vanguard vet, or a bike and a wound on a bike.
Bike and a wound on a bike.
Alright, so we have 1 bike with 1 wound, who will be the sergeant, and then the Vanguard vet will be left. Yikes.
No sergeant, actually, because the sergeant's a part of the other squad.
You're right, the sergeant's part of the infantry. So just a bike with a wound and the Vanguard vet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get first blood, but I did hurt that unit quite a bit, which I'm more than pleased with. For his shooting, and that's what we have left. We have that bike with 1 wound remaining. The only other shots I have are these 2 bolt guns at those targets over there, and that's it, because the rest can't fire. They advanced, and they're just way back here on the objective. That's their home. We hit on 3s, we miss once, and we wound on... I assume we still wound on 5s because there's 1 bike left?
Yep.
We do wound. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this 3-up save?
3-up save!
That's a 4. He's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, so I don't get first strike, which isn't ideal because I think Josh is capable of getting it. We'll see. And that is the end of my turn. I get no victory points. I believe that is... Yeah, that's it. It's going to go on Deathwatch turn 1. I did some damage. I'm pretty pleased with that damage.
Not a ton of great options here for the Deathwatch. I think we're going to start off with the Corvus Blackstar, basically just flying almost straight up the board, ending in between the 2 Plague Squads.
We've already measured. We figured out there. He's going to land... The front of his base is about there. That's as far as you can go. You don't have to go that far if you don't want to.
No, I think I'll go that far. That's fine.
Alright then.
And the remnants of that squad, they're actually, I think we're going to roll their leadership, don't we?
They lost... What, oh, sorry, they're veterans. Are they leadership 8 or 9 as veterans?
They're leadership 8.
Okay. So they lost 3 guys.
So gonna pick somebody flees.
They're fine. That would be on my turn we roll that. But we missed it, but they're still okay. Typically, I'd be very surprised if Josh ever lost any veterans in any game of 40k he's played in 8th edition with Deathwatch. I guess maybe...
Yeah, I don't really run huge squads very often. And
Right. So it's typically harder to suffer morale. So they're going to end there. Corvus ends there. Obviously can't disembark until next turn, but that's also when the other reinforcements show up. And I assume these guys are staying still.
Yes.
Alright, so what is the plan going into the shooting phase?
Okay, shooting. We're going to start by having, I think we're going to have the sniper vets, or the stalker vets, put shots into the Death Guard squad at the back there. The one that Corvus, the northern squad. There you go.
Yeah. So they do have range on them. What kind of ammo do they want to use?
Now, because of the range I'm at, because it's a base 30-inch range, so I have to use the Kraken bolts.
The plus 6-inch range one. Yeah. So they're going to do... I think that's plus 6-inch range and plus 1 AP?
And plus 1 AP, yeah. So they should be... I think they're capping out at the minus 2 AP right now anyways.
Are they heavy?
They are heavy, and they naturally have a minus 1 AP.
So they would go up to 3, but with the new rules, Josh knows more than I do. Apparently, there's a cap on how high their AP can get through the use of special issue ammo that does actually stack with the doctrine traits.
That existed, but I don't think that's a new rule. I think that existed before, so...
Oh, okay. So their AP can't go any more than 2 on a Kraken shell.
Correct.
Okay, so it's going to be... Are they 1 shot each?
2 shots each.
So it's going to be 10 shots into them, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s or 5s, and AP 2, because that's as high as it can go. Even though it could go up to 3, but it can only stack up to 2.
Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. This is the Capitan nearby.
Then it does help.
Okay. Now, these are going to be wounding you on 5s, rerolling 1s because you're a troop choice and you're my chosen target.
Nice. That's really good. That's 5 wounding hits. So yeah, we've got to mention the Deathwatch mission tactic. It's a rule they get for being Deathwatch. They choose a force org type and they get to reroll wound rolls of 1 against them, and Josh chose troops. Yeah, troops. Okay, which they are. And then I have a 2-up save currently because I have cover. Minus 2, I go to a 4-up. Okay, I'll make a good amount of those because of the cover actually, and then a 5-up.
80% of them.
Yeah, I do fail my 5-up though, and I'm going to lose. I guess we'll lose you. Oh, we're gonna really lose you.
Time for El Capitan here. He's gonna put shots into the Dreadnought. I'm gonna use the Bolter discipline with his Mastercrafted Bolter and not use any special issue ammunition because it gives me, I think, the best potential here.
Yeah, that's true. And again, for Deathwatch, apparently you can't use Bolter discipline and special issue ammo. You have to choose between the two. I guess more options. I can see why it'd be way too powerful the one way, but no one plays Deathwatch anyways. It's like Josh and 4 guys that I know that play Deathwatch, and they all come to MiniWarGaming for whatever reason and play against Steve.
It's true. It's true.
They specifically they only played against Steve because he let us know about that every day.
Yeah. Steve was convinced that 90% of people that play Warhammer play Deathwatch.
He's like, yeah. So do you guys ever realize that literally everyone plays Deathwatch? I don't even think they're that overpowered of an army, but I don't understand why everyone plays Deathwatch. And I probably haven't, the last time I played against Deathwatch was like Josh at the beginning of like 8th edition, or like when they got their book. I'm like, I don't think anyone really plays Deathwatch, man.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Okay, well, he's going to rapid fire using Bolter Discipline because he did not move, and this is a mastercrafted bolt gun, so it should be damage 2, AP 1, strength 4. Alright, so hitting on 3s because of Miasma, and he's the captain, rerolling the 1. Does Miasma help at all? It does. A little bit. 5's to wound because I'm only tough to 7. And that is a failed wound. Alright. And then that's it for them, but we still have them to fire and this big Corvus. So what do you think wants to go next?
I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the squad with the bike go ahead and put some shots into that squad right ahead of them.
Righto. Now, no cover there, but what are we thinking for ammo?
I will do the wounding on 2 ammo.
Oh, right. Hellfire? I can't remember.
Hitting on 3s with the Hellfire rounds. Not bad. Wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s.
Got 3 wounds. I assume there's no AP on this then?
There's no AP right now.
Right, so 3 ups. Oh, I wish I had cover there. I don't, just because of the angle of it all. They're not shooting through it, they're shooting to the side. At least that's our interpretation of it, and that's how I'd probably treat it otherwise as well. And I ignore 1 and I fail 1. That's my disgusting resilience. So 1 guy does go ahead and die. We're going to lose you, I believe, and you're not going to fall off your base.
Time for Mr. Corvus Blackstar. I'm going to put all of his shots into that same squad I've been trying to bully, except for the missile launchers are going to go into the Dreadnought.
Okay, as he flies past it, the missiles will go into the Dreadnought. And then we have the Hurricane Bolter, the Twin Assault Cannon over there. Nothing was able to be dropped. He couldn't drop bombs on anything this turn either. Is his bombs once per game?
No, it's not a great version of the bomb rule, but he can do it whenever he wants.
Okay, so he's got unlimited bombs, but they're just meh. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll start into the Dreadnought, and then we'll resolve the shots into them. Now, this is going to come into play with the new rules, the big guns never tire, where vehicles ignore moving and firing heavy weapons, whereas this thing doesn't actually do that normally. So this is a big bonus for the Corvus Blackstar, because it was kind of poo before.
Huge bonus for the Blackstar, yeah.
Did it have any like strafing run bonus or like shooting at anti-air bonus? They had nothing like that.
They refused to give it Power of the Machine, Spirit, Strafing Run, or anything. There's the Auspex Array, which is an upgrade that I'm going to reroll hit rolls of 1 against things that don't fly, so there's kind of that, but...
Well, that's really good. So they hit on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's a big bonus for this guy. Okay, well, to be fair, he was kind of crap before, so now he's a lot better. Yeah. What's the profile on this missile? Why don't you go ahead and let me know that so I can gather these dice up here.
So they are, I've got 2 of them. They're heavy 1, strength 8, AP -3, 3 damage.
Heavy 1, all right. So that means he's going to be hitting on 4s because of Miasma. And that's rerolling 1s, though. So Miasma helps, nice. And his strength 8, you said?
It is.
That's a 3 to wound. That is going to be a wound at AP...
3.
AP 3, all right. Invuln. We fail that. How much damage that bad boy?
3 damage.
Okay, so he takes 3 and goes down to 7. That's him down to 7. Now we're going to do the 12 shots from the Twin Assault Cannon into those Marines over there. So that is going to be, I need 1 more dice.
12 shots into those Plague Marines down, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s.
No 1s. And 3s.
That should be wounding on 3s?
Yeah. Rolled 1. Oh, wait, he doesn't get the mission trait, does he?
No, he doesn't have mission tactics.
All right, so he fails those, and these are all -1. And I don't believe I get cover. Again, because the cover...
-2 because of them being heavy?
Devastator Doctrine, you're right. So that is going to be -2, and I don't believe I have cover because that one guy's kind of poking out a little bit, and we don't want to be too lenient with it. We want to know for sure what the cover rules are like, and they haven't given us too much insight into that. Now, like if this was like 7th edition, I'd roll 1 at a time on him, and then the rest of the guys would take wounds. So I guess in this case, I might still do that. I'm gonna roll dice. I could still do that. So we're gonna do saving throws 1 at a time. On him, he's got a 5 up. It's my special weapon though. He's got resilience. He is dead. But he will go down. And then I'm just gonna roll the rest as a 4 up because they'd have cover. And then 3 are gonna pass, and then resilience will kick in. 3 more will die. And that's going to leave me with just... I'll keep the Plague Champion alive, and then we have the Hurricane Bolter, which will be 12 shots.
Hurricane Bolter down, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, because you do not fly, sir.
I do not, though they dream of it one day. And 5s. Does he get special ammo, or only infantry, typically?
No, he doesn't get special ammunition.
Oh, you don't really need it. You got 5 wounding hits. No AP, so I should have a 2-up save against this. And I make all my saves on my champion. But only my champion survives, which is not great. losing the Plague Spears. I think I get a little more value on keeping him there. He's about to get in close combat so he can beat stuff up. Now, the Plague Spear could have overwatched nicely, but I don't know, I like the champion. I paid points for that power site. Let's keep him. Plus, it's a cool model.
Ends the shooting, pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead and declare charge against that Plague Champion.
Right, with that team there, I only have a bolt gun, so I will shoot it, and I will miss twice, and then roll new dice from Josh's charge. It's a 6-inch charge, we already know that. That's a 6, so no need to re-roll it if you wanted to, and I don't see why you'd want to.
Yeah,
and
no, we're keeping that.
they're going to come right on in, and I have to survive this to keep this objective going. Because I want the point on my second turn, you know? They count as troops, technically, because they came from a veteran squad, so they are going to be obsec, so I have to get them off that objective before my next turn. Alright, that's where they end up. Would you like to, that's the only charge. Before attacking, would you like to pile in, like, around him a little bit to get behind the train from this
We can
angle?
pile the bike in a little bit tighter, that's fine.
Do you want to touch
That's
base
about
or
it.
not touch yet?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and touch. I don't want you
Bam.
moving around.
No shenanigans. You get to attack first with all your attacks. I assume they have 2 attacks base each.
They are 2 attacks base each, yeah.
So that's going to be 4 attacks from the biker, and then 4 attacks from the Vanguard vet. Oh, or is it 5? It's 2, 3. It should be 4 from the Vanguard vet as well. Because they both have +1 attack for the chainsword on the biker and for double lightning claw on the Vanguard vet. And I guess we'll do the Vanguard vet first because he's most likely to kill me, I say. He's got lightning claw, so he's got 4 attacks on 3s. Not re-rolling. Unless he does.
He does not.
No. 5s to wound. Re-rolling because of shred on the lightning claws.
Yes.
Okay, 1 got through. Now I owe you a 5 up save. I make it. Okay, that's big. That's a good start for me. And we have 4 attacks from the chainsword on the bike veteran. They on 3s.
Yep.
Oh, they all hit. 5s to wound. We got re-roll these.
Reroll the ones.
We got 2 wounding hits that are 3 ups.
Fail them.
Ooh. I'm gonna command point the 2. We make it. We survive.
No.
But that means I have to power fist you back. And this is an interesting interaction because I think I have to actually roll my attacks 1 at a time until the bike dies, because I wound the bike on 3s and I wound the Vanguard vet on 2s. I have 3 attacks as a Plague Champion who was charged. So 1 at a time into the bike. Well, no, I have to declare my attack. No, it's a unit. I don't have to declare my... It's so weird. It's 1 unit, so I declare all my attacks into the unit, but I have to do them 1 at a time until I kill the bike. So the bike, I only hit on 4s, and I don't get Death to the False Emperor. I wound... Or do I wound? I don't wound, and I don't get to re-roll it. So
Good.
Next attack, misses. 3rd attack. That sucks. I've already used my re-roll too. So that means I don't get to score that point. You have successfully denied it from me. And now... it's morale time too, and I lost 5 guys on that squad. No, that was the 7-man squad. I lost 6 guys this turn. So leadership down to 2 on a 3-up I run. I'm gonna spend 2 points on insane bravery to keep him around. So I'm gonna roll it anyways to torture myself. Oh, dang it. Okay, so I spent the 2 points. I am down to 5 command points, and he's sticking around, but I don't get that victory point, but I will get these 2 at the start of my turn. When I said 5 command points, I have 4 left. I forgot to keep track of the reroll on the miasma. And that will end the turn as we move on to Death Guard for the turn 2. I think the first thing I would like to do, and there's a stratagem that you could use here if you wanted to, I believe. I have to read it how it works, but essentially if I fall back from combat, I'm going to fall back to about there. You have no way to heroically intervene with those 2 non-character models, do you?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to stay an inch away there. And then I believe it's like 1 command point. You get to roll a d6 for every one of my models that left combat, and for every 6 up, I take a mortal wound. Would you, or maybe it's for every model in your unit, would you like to use that, or?
I hadn't remembered it, so give me a second and I will look it up and we'll see. Maybe
we're gonna go ahead and look that up. I don't think it's good. I wish they made it a little bit more devastating, because I think falling back from combat should be punished more than it is now. Yeah, we're not gonna go ahead and use that one there. We're just gonna let him fall back, and then I'm gonna continue.
I'm not worried about killing 1 guy.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that. We are gonna go ahead, and this squad here is going to essentially move over this way, I guess. And the sorcerer's going to move and tuck in to right there. And then these Marines are going to climb up here a little bit, because we'll say it's scalable, and we're just going to assume that the old rules for that apply, where you just simply measure up and move. And that's where they're all ending up. This guy here is not going to be able to fire at the veterans over there because of the tree template in the way. So he's going to have to fire at the Corvus Blackstar. And then I don't know what to do with this Dreadnought here. He is probably going to open fire up at these veterans up on the rock here. But other than that, he can't get up there. As far as I know, they had mentioned some rule about being able to attack upper levels, but I think that's to the extent. They had mentioned that there's a rule in the works, and I can't remember if they released it or not, and I'm not going to worry about it too much, because I don't think they have yet. But I'm curious.
I don't see anything in the article about it.
Yeah, same. I'd like to see what they're going to implement for that, though. Dreadnought's actually not going to move that far. He's just going to end up moving to about there. Keeping them within 18 inches in case he needs to fire at them, but he's going to end up firing last to see what happens to them from this fire here. Josh is going to get Josh is going to get cover from these guys firing over here. These guys are not going to be giving him any cover. I got a couple flamers for resolve, but more importantly, I have to have my Terminators all show up from reserve as well. For the end of my movement phase, the Lord of Contagion shows up more than 9 inches away from the Corvus Blackstar, assuming that there's going to be some very necessary help over here. That one veteran squad and the Watchmaster all in there is going to be real nasty. I'm hoping the Dreadnought can help out with some of that stuff too. These two, like that incredibly crippled champion and this squad here, are not going to be enough to deal with that. And over here, I am going to go. I know that there's Silent Bodyguard rule, and they work well with characters. They do typically want to be near the Warlord, but they're going to show up near objective number 2, both of these models. Whereas the champion is going to be more than 9 inches away from that single veteran. And then the same is true for that squad in the back. They're on the objective, but more than 9 away from the captain. And Josh had mentioned he wants to Auspex scan. So where are we Auspex scanning?
We'll say the squad most in my backfield there. Let's light them up.
So that squad there, is the Auspex scan 1 or 2 CP? It's 1.
It's 2 CP.
Oh, it is 2. So they're going to Auspex scan, and then they get to shoot at them as they arrive, but at -1 to hit. So they're going to be hitting them on 4s.
And because of the Warlord trait, I get an attempt to recover one of those command points on a 5.
You do not. So we're both down to 4, I believe. And yes. That's 10 shots into those Terminators in the back there, and hopefully I can survive this. Now, I won't lie, I forgot a little about the Auspex scan, but I still would have put them there, I think, regardless. So 4s to hit my Terminators. Okay.
No ones with the captain, but again, no ones.
No ones, just overwhelming hits. Oh, wait, sorry.
You had a 3 in there.
There's a 3 in there?
There's a 3 in there.
Okay, well, I'll double check that in a second. What kind of ammo do you want to use before I roll anything up here?
Wounding on 2 up.
Okay, Hellfire rounds, gotcha.
Okay, wounding you on 2s.
Not rerolling the 1, only because they're elites. But that's still really good. And these are AP 1 because they're stalkers?
Yep.
Are they 1 damage each?
They're just 1 damage each, yeah.
So 3 up. Oh, man! Boy, do I regret putting them there now. Do I command win any of these? One guy's gonna die, and I need to make. I'm probably gonna lose 1 guy here. I gotta think about this now. I'm gonna reroll 1. Okay, we make 1 more of those. I can't afford to lose these backline guys to dumb stuff like that. And then I'm down to 3 command points, and on a 5 up, I ignore some of this damage. So I do lose 1. Now, hypothetically, okay, so that's a good thing I rerolled. So I lose 1, and I take a wound. And that is what remains. So I have 3 wounds left in that unit. Psychic phase will do smite because why not? It's gonna hit the Corvus. Has to hit the Corvus. I get +1 to this. I get a 9. Ooh, D3 mortal wounds. Is there like, yeah, it's D3 mortal wounds. It takes 3 mortal wounds. That's how I'll kill it. I'll slowly get it with this. How many wounds does it have?
It starts at 14.
Okay, we got a lot of turns to go then. It's got 11 wounds left. We're gonna miasma. I'm gonna just roll to see if I get it first. I do. Now I don't know who is more important to put it on. Actually, I don't have line of sight on the Dreadnought. Because, again, I'm going to assume the Obscuring trait prevents psychic powers as well. So I'm just going to put it on this squad here. Because maybe that'll help them out. Maybe it'll be important. I don't actually know. But -1 to hit until... for any attacks until my next psychic phase. And now it is the phase of shooting. We're going to start with this squad. We are going to put the 2 Plague Spears into the Flyer. Even though I think that the Flyer should be able to ignore Flamer and Blast type weapons. It's fine. I don't think that's the case yet, but it might come out sometime later in the new edition. They're gonna both shoot over there, and then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolt guns rapid firing into the veterans over there. Rapid firing because I'm Death Guard and I have a longer rapid fire range. Here comes the bolt guns. We hit on 3s. I suppose I have to do these 1 at a time until the bike dies then, eh? So the bike's wounded on... Yep. Bike's wounded on 5s. Nope. And the bike's going to have a 2-up save as well to go along with that. So the bike's got a 2-up. He's fine. And then 5. 5. And then 5. Hey, 2-up. Nope. 5. 5. 5. Nope. That wasn't great. And then 2d6 automatic hits into the flyer, because the Flamers has 11 automatic hits. It seems cool and all. It might be cool. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, one more die. 5s to wound. Rerolling 1s because it's a plague weapon. Again, I feel like this should only work against non-vehicles, but okay. I mean, that's been my gripe since the beginning of the Death Guard coming out. We have 3 wounding hits at AP 1. I assume you have a 4-up.
I got a 4-up now, yeah.
So you're going to take 3 more damage. That's going to put you down to 8. Down to 8?
You're doing fine.
I'm doing okay to him. Little tiny small arms, if you want to call like the heavy flamer equivalent a small arm. And then we're going to go with this squad here. This one bolt gun guy has to fire into the Corvus Black Star. These 5 are going to fire into the veteran squad over there. So they won't get cover from these shots, but I still have to kill that bike first. And I only have 5 shots because none of them are rapid firing. And that one Marine is actually not rapid firing. I thought he might be. He was not. He hits on a 4. He misses. And then he hits on a 4 because he's got supersonic or airborne, one of the 2 rules. Like I think it's airborne. And then we have...
Whichever one it is.
Yeah, it's one of those 2. So 5 shots into those veterans over there. I can roll all the hits at the same time, and then 1 at a time until we kill that bike. 5 to wound, folks. 5 to wound. That is a wound. Save. If we don't kill the bike and last wounding hit, it does wound. And save. We do not kill that bike. Oh, okay, that's not great. So I might need a little bit of assistance from him, but they're going to get cover from his shots. But I also really wanted to kill them. But it's very important I kill them. So I'm going to... I think I have to. I'm going to put everything from him into the bikes just to deny you the point. I won't be able to deny you the point over here. And if I get lucky and make a charge, I get lucky and make a charge. But everything from him into them. And they're going to have cover. So we're going to start with... Well, it doesn't really matter what I start with. You know what? We'll do the carries first. So we have 2 different rules at the moment that let us ignore moving and firing heavy weapons. One being Death Guard and one being the big guns never tire. 2s to hit. A couple misses. And these are going to be wounding on 3s. 2 wounding hits at -1. We'll do the bike first, because we have to. Bike is fine. Bike is not fine. Would you like to re-roll that?
No, I'll let you have it.
Alright, so the bike goes down, and then I'm just going to fire the plasma gun into the Vanguard vet. The last remaining guy, 2s to hit. Nice, they both hit. And these are 2s to wound. Strength 8. And they're -3, but you have a 2-up save, so 5-up. And he double dies too.
Yeah.
So they do both die. There we go. So at least I deny a point there. No first strike or anything because that opportunity is gone. And that's it for shooting. That's all I got. And with that, we come to charging over here. These are some nasty charges because you got to climb up the rocks there. It's not ideal, and I almost don't feel like dealing with the Overwatch. You don't have any shenanigans in Overwatch, do you? Just 6s?
I do not, no.
Rerolling the 1s to hit, though.
Unless you're an orc.
No, I'm not, unfortunately. Though I do remember that stratagem, which I love. Honestly, I'd almost rather just stay on the objective. But if I made if I made the charge, that would be so big for me. Because I would also get you off that objective. Because they're not going to be able to stand up to these guys here. But then again, I'm only really going to be getting like 1 of them attacking, maybe 2 on a pile in. Still, you know what? I'll declare the charge. You get to Overwatch. It's going to be 10 shots.
Are you declaring a charge against the captain as well, or no?
He can heroically intervene in, so I don't want to. I don't feel like dealing with his attacks too. He's got a Xenophase. Is it just a power? What kind of profile is the Xenophase blade, anyways? It's
a power sword that forces you to reroll successful in-mulligan saves.
Yeah, gross. Gross. I mean, I'll declare that he's got 2 damage weapon though. Man, why is this so hard? Why? You know what? I'm not gonna bother declaring the charge. It's not worth my time. You know what? We're not declaring the charge. We'll deal with it a little bit later on. I'd rather just try and go for the points. So we are gonna end our turn there. We're gonna go on to turn 2 for. Oh wait, do I owe morale anywhere? I don't believe I do. No. We're gonna go on to turn 2 for the Deathwatch.
Alrighty, here, start of the turn, ready to rumble. We're gonna jump out of the Corvus. The squad's jumping out front here. Might move him around a little bit. Watch Master's jumping up behind because I wanted to try to take on that Dreadnought and see what happens. It might go terribly, it might not. I don't know.
Right, your confidence here has me a little worried. I haven't fought the Watchmaster in a while. I know it's not like a Power Fist or a Thunder Hammer, that weapon, but
It's a Guardian Spear.
it's pretty much like a Custodian Guardian Spear, right?
Okay, so he's got the Osius key, which is gonna, if I hit you, do D3 more wounds because you're a vehicle.
Right, because I'm a vehicle. Yeah.
Right, and then he's also got the regular clavis or whatever it's called. It's a stratagem I can use to hit you for D3 more wounds.
Okay, well then, yeah, you're fine in that regard. You're probably fine. But I guess it could backfire, but still, you're probably good. And then the rest of the veterans pop out there in a very aggressive manner. Now, what's this Corvus doing? Is he hovering? Is he flying around?
It's going to pivot, so it basically looks towards where you're standing right now and fly over the squad and your Lord of Contagion.
Gotcha. What's its minimum move?
I believe it's 20.
Okay. With that, he's going to... I don't know if I can grab the terrain here, but let's see. He's going to pretty much pivot like this, fly over, and end near the edge of the battlefield here. Still on it, though.
Looks good to me.
And then we're going to take his wounds with him. He's got 8 remaining. And then we have to resolve his bombs. Now, how, Josh, do his bombs work?
Basically, it's a squad that I fly over, and I roll a d6 for every model, and on a 6, you take a mortal wound.
Okay, you do that for both the squads? Or you
just the one squad.
Just the one squad? Okay, so it's a 7-man squad. You roll 7 dice, and every 4-up is a mortal wound. Well, let me tell you what. Is it every 4-up?
Every 6 is a mortal wound.
Okay, I was going to say every 4-up sounds very powerful for a multi-use bomb. We are going to avoid those bombs. They are pitiful. There's 7 there, right? Yeah, none died. Yeah, okay. So that is it for his move, and he's still on the table rear and a go. And we are in the tactical doctrine now as well. So rapid fire and assault weapons are additional AP. So now we move them, just rejig them a little bit. We're going to keep with the intent of going over there for that objective, or getting near that objective, and then over here they're wrapping around my Plague Marines a wee bit. One thing to note here, this one Vanguard veteran is within 3 of the center of that objective, so if he gets shot down by, say, the Watchmaster, then that'll be Josh's objective on the next turn, as opposed to having to charge the Power Fist if he doesn't want to. Now, that's all moved. The Watchmaster, I assume, just wants to move, like, unable to fail the charge?
Yeah, it's getting nice and close there.
So you'll go there, they move there, they move there. Now we have these vets on top of this rock. Are they happy where they are?
Vets are happy with the captain's going to head back towards the wounded Terminator squad.
He's going to move back. This is the full 6 that way. He's going to jump down?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to end up moving to the bottom of the rock. They're still within 6 of them for the re-rolling hit rolls of 1. And then ready for a fight. Okay, well that's it for the basic movement stuff. Now we have 2 squads that could show up. Are they showing up?
I think, yeah, it is time to show up, because they got to do a bunch of damage. So we're going to start with the Intercessors, and they're showing up in a position to threaten the 3 Terminators.
Ah, these ones over here.
And the reserve showing up in position to, hopefully do a whole ton of shots. So we have the Intercessors here to threaten the Terminators. And then the veterans with the Stalker rifles dropped in a position where they can hopefully support against those Terminators, but also I want to start to threaten your home objective.
Yeah, and I have them set up here so that they're not obscured by these trees when shooting at the Terminators, and if they do choose to shoot over here, then they're also not obscured by any of these trees either. From the angles of firing, they're all good. Even though it looks like it might be close, it's not. It's kind of skirting the trees there. And that's it for movement. No psychic phase for you, so where do you begin this shooting phase?
We're going to start with my Watch Captain shooting at the Terminators.
Ah, that's easy enough. He's got the bolt gun there. He's rapid firing because he's in rapid fire range. What kind of ammo does he want to use? Hellfire?
Hellfire, yeah.
All right, so it's going to be AP2 because of the tactical doctrine. Interesting. Yes. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling. They both hit. 2s to wound because of Hellfire. They both wound. And then I have 1 failed save, and I lose a guy. All right, look at that. He is removed.
Intercessors now, Hellfire rounds into those Terminators straight ahead.
Hitting on 3s. Oh, okay. And 2s to wound because you don't care about my toughness. And these are all AP2 because of the tactical doctrine. I have a 4-up. Yup. Good old Marines. And, nice. I lose 1 Terminator. I'm going to pull you.
Alright, going to continue trying to punish those Terminators. Veterans up top there will shoot their Stalker Bolters into them.
That's 10 shots. What kind of ammo? We're just probably doing Hellfire, I assume.
Hellfire, yeah. Toughness 5 is just the smart choice.
Yeah. Taking on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Don't need it. Oh man, this is rough. This is like my own dice against me. 2s to wound. They are not troops. And these are 4-up saves because it's Stalker -1. Actually, it's only -1 because they're heading.
Only -1.
So I actually make those 3-ups and I fail these. I fail those as well. And I need the objective, so I'm going to lose that guy. That's actually this champion. One remaining Terminator. They have to hold strong. That is important. Now, we fired all that stuff. What about over here?
I think we're going to go Watchmaster, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and fire a Tempest Shell into your Dreadnought.
Is that a stratagem?
So, it's a stratagem. It's one command point.
How does it work?
If I hit you, I do D3 mortal wounds with your vehicle.
Oh, that's easy enough. You hit me, and then I take 2 mortal wounds. I have got 5 remaining wounds. Boop.
5 up to get the command point back. No.
So you go down to 3, but well worth it.
Time now for the big veteran squad to shoot. What I'm going to do is put 1 Stormbolter into the 1 remaining Plague Champion.
All right, on objective 4 there.
And everything else is going to go into that Plague Marine squad.
Oof, okay, so we're going to resolve that 1 Stormbolter first. What kind of ammo are we thinking? Hellfire?
Hellfire.
Yeah, gotcha.
Always Hellfire. Stormbolter should be hitting on 3s.
Yes, reroll the 1 for the... Is it reroll everything for the watch? Is he a chapter master equivalent?
Reroll everything for the Watchmaster, yeah.
Alright, so we have 1 miss there. And 2s to wound. They're troops. Not that it mattered there. And I have a 4-up save because... it's AP1. I fail 1. And resilience? Ah! So he does stick around. And then all the rest of the shots into them. Do you want to do the Stormbolters first, or do you want to do the Frag?
Let's just get the Frag Cannons out of the way.
Are they 2d6 per, so it's 66 automatic hits? Very nice.
Automatic hit.
Very nice. Poor Rip Plague Marines. Oh, I'm dragging this.
And how many shots do we get? 66 says mucho shots.
Yeah, it's like way above average. It's 10, 22, 27 automatic hits.
Alright, so I'm going to wound you on 3s, rerolling 1s because you're my chosen target.
Didn't quite help there.
Okay.
And AP2, because of the tactical doctrine. I have a 5-up save. I don't have any cover against this. I make 4 of them, and then these are resiliences. I make 2 of those. I do lose 3 to the frag cannons. Those 3 will be just these regular bolt guns, I suppose. Then the second volley of frag cannons on 3s. Reroll the 1s. Yikes. And then these are all 5-up saves. So I forgot to mention on the first roll that was only the first half of the frag cannons. And then these are my saves. That was from before. Wow, I make 3? Oh boy. And then resilience. Alright, that squad's dead. And then, alright. There goes one of my troop choices.
Alrighty, so that worked. Let's go to the Corvus now. It's going to go ahead and dump all of its fire into that Plague Marine squad on top of the rock.
Alright, that works. We'll start with the missiles first.
Might as well, yeah.
They both hit. Wounding on 3s. 1 wounds. And I make my... Oh, is -3? Or -2?
It's -3, yeah.
-2. I have 2-up save on the rock, so I do make it. I pass that. And then a bunch of other shots.
Okay, let's get the Hurricane Bolter going now. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s.
Because you're targeting something on the ground. That's right.
The Aspect Array, yeah.
There we go. And 5s. So we've got 5 of them. And these are all -1 because of tactical doctrine, so I have a 3-up save again against this. Fail that. Resilience that. And then we have the assault cannons.
Okay, assault cannons, see if they do any better. 3s, rolling 1s.
Reroll the 1s again because they ignore moving and firing heavy now. Or at least we're playing it that way for now. And then 3s to wound. No re-rolling because, well, there's no troops. There's no 1s. And then -1, so I have 3 up again. And we're good. Okay, they were surprisingly able to survive all that.
That point. Okay, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so this veteran squad is going to go ahead and put shots into the Terminator.
1 remaining Terminator. So that's going to be 10 shots from all of them. And like I said already, actually I got to double check because that guy was in a position to shoot at that guy there. Because if he was over here, he wouldn't be able to shoot over there. So I wanted to give Josh the most amount of options. But these guys...
whoever can't shoot at the Terminator can just shoot at those Plague Marines on top of the rock.
Exactly, yeah. Because these guys got beat up more than I had hoped they would have. Never mind. They are all in range to fire at him. And ignoring the tree for the obscuring there.
So yeah, I'm going to hit you on 4s.
4s? Yeah, they technically moved this turn. And obviously Hellfire.
2.
Not rerolling that because they're not troops. And then -2. Well, no, these are heavy, so it's only -1.
Yep.
And I make all my saves but 1. And they're 1 damage each. And am I resilient? I am not. I take 1 damage. He's got 1 wound left. 1 wound. And then that should be it for firing. Now we've got a bunch of charges to resolve.
Yes, many charges.
Okay, where do we start here?
Okay, so let's start with, we're going to have my Watch Master declare the charge against the Dreadnought.
Alright, well I will Overwatch then, and I will do the Ectoplasma first, I suppose. We hit, wound on a 2. We do, and it goes to his 4-up invulnerable save.
Yeah.
He takes 2 damage from that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is he down to... Oh, you don't want to reroll? Oh, you're debating on a reroll. No.
I thought about rerolling, but no, he'll be okay.
Alright, then we have the carries. 6 is to hit with the carries. On Overwatch, we have 1 hit and 3 to wound. It does not wound. So he goes... Does he have 6 or 5 wounds on a Watchmaster?
I'm checking right now.
Put him down to 4 remaining wounds after the Overwatch and his charge. Well, he's going to be able to go up to 7.
And he just needs to just charge straight in. He doesn't got to go far.
Touch and base. And that's it for that charge. I suppose we have charges over here.
So Veteran Squad's going to declare against the Sorcerer as well as the Marine in the back.
Right. Marine in the back's going to throw a Blight Grenade, I suppose, and then the Sorcerer has a Combi Flamer, so he'll fire that. I assume the Combi Flamer doesn't change your mind from the charge?
I don't think so. Can you double check for me? Will your guy be able to heroically intervene if I charge?
It'll be up to 3 inches, so it'll be up to there. I'll double check. So that's where...
Okay, so I'll just avoid getting into there.
Yeah, you'll avoid that area there. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Starting with the Sorcerer, his Bolter component double misses, and my Death Guard Lord of Contagion, he's such a good character, he doesn't even have the reroll 1's aura. And then we're going to go with the automatic hitting Flamer. It's going to be 3 of them. This is just the regular Flamer, it's not a Plague Flamer of any kind, so 1 wound. And Terminator or regular guy?
I'll take out Terminator.
2 up! He's okay. And then we have the Blight Grenade, D6 shots, 2 of them on 6s, and we missed there as well. So that's it for the Overwatch, and they are going to charge up to 11. Oh my, eager. Alright, so we got a weird charge here, but this is trying to make the unit as efficient as it can. Vanguard Vet went for the Plague Champion, and then obviously he's supported by 2 Vets with Storm Shields and Storm Bolters, and then we have 1, 2, 3 guys keeping coherency, but this 3rd guy is within 6 inches of the Watchmaster, so they get to reroll failed hit rolls. And then he's supporting the Terminator as the Terminator attacks my Sorcerer, and the Terminator is outside of 3 for a heroic intervention. Yeah.
And one last charge to go here. We're going to go the Captain charging into that lone Terminator.
And that Terminator is my champion, so he's got 2 hand flamers. I assume that doesn't matter too much.
No.
Yeah. So we have 11 automatic hits.
Well,
5s to wound. I get to roll 1s because it's a plague weapon. Okay, we got 3 wounds, no AP, and you have, I assume, a 3 up, I guess?
He's just 3 up, yeah.
He's a captain, he just takes
That's
2.
fine.
He takes
He's
his
good.
2. He's got, I'm going to assume 3 left because he's a captain.
Yes.
Alright, so he's going to end up there taking his 3 damage and charging in 8 inches. Anything fancy or just right in?
Just right in.
Touch base, there we go. And then Josh specifically said no to charging these guys in, so that should be it for charges. I do have enough points to interrupt, so keep that in mind. Where would you like to go first?
I think I will start... Ooh, this is actually kind of tricksy now. Let's go ahead and we'll have my Watch Master go. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop a command point to use the Clavis, which means I roll, and on a 2-up, you take D3 mortal wounds for being a vehicle.
Okay, well then here's your roll for the 2-up.
No! All command point reroll back.
That means no command point for saving throws and stuff in the combat phase.
That's fine.
Okay. Yikes!
No! Oh no!
So that's 2 command points down. But do you get those back?
I get to try to get them back.
I'm just gonna roll 2 dice,
back.
but you can only get 1 of them back if you get both 5-ups. So that, wow. 1, 1, 1, 2.
Stop rolling those back.
Those are all new dice. I just grabbed a new die every time, as you can see.
5 attacks hitting on 2s.
Reroll the 1. They all hit.
Okay. I think I'm only wounding you on 5s though.
Strength 6 or 5.
Yeah, I think I'm strength 5 on these.
Any rerolls?
I will use... no.
No rerolls? Okay. And AP is good, so I go to my... Being a Hellforge Contemptor, he has a 4-up in close combat, invulnerable, which doesn't matter, he made it either way. So he makes that save. And then you have your...
I get my 1 swing with the Relic.
That's every turn, right? Just like digital lasers in a way? Yeah. If you hit, it just does D3 mortal wounds to me, if I recall.
Correct.
So 2-up rerolling, it hits, and now it deals D3 mortal wounds. I take 3. I have 2 remaining wounds left on him. But enough to whoop his butt. So I'm going to opt to not interrupt. I'm going to conserve my command points. I don't think I need to. Where would you like to fight next? You get pretty much free reign at this point.
We're going to go to the captain. I may be regretting this charge, but whatever. It looks cool.
Okay, that's fair. He's going to have 5 attacks with that Xenophase Blade as he charges in. 2s and 5s, I believe. So they all hit. And hopefully my toughness comes into play here. It didn't really come into play here.
It did twice.
What do we got? Invulnerable save. But because there's a Xenophase Blade, I have to re-roll. I was thinking about interrupting over here, but the math in my head said there's no way he's going to kill me. But here he is, literally killing me. So I failed that one. I could use a command point to try and stop this one, but then that means I'd have to make one of these success and resilient rolls. And I have... Yeah, I'll command point this. Well, I'll command point one of the ones. So I'm only making 2 disgusting resilient rolls. I have 2 command points left.
Wait a second, Oh yeah, because I guess it double cancels. Never mind, you're good.
Yeah, they would double cancel, yeah.
Yes.
Resilience sucks. Crap. Alright, so he's dead. Yikes. There goes my hopes and dreams. He's going to consolidate a little bit back towards the veterans, but he's going to stay within 3 of the objective. Kind of unable to help them anymore, but going to be scoring your points in the future. And now you have this veteran squad to go ahead and swing with.
Indeed, sir. Let's start with the Thunderhammer swings.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's no point piling in now. Does he have 2 attacks base or 3? I assume 2.
I believe he's going to get 2.
Okay, so he's going to have 3 now. 3 attacks to that Terminator. Ooh. So what is the... I'm assuming the Watchmaster says reroll failed hit rolls, but he might have been changed in the new...
just reroll failed hit rolls, yeah.
So the 3s do miss. And
what I'm going to do is use my Warlord's once per game reroll on a hit roll or what. I don't know, maybe I should use that for that. Oh, yeah, no, never mind. I'll stop talking.
Okay, so 1 hit,
Yes.
2 to wound. It does wound. I have no save. Well, I do. I have a 6-up armor save, I suppose, which I will fail. And that takes 3 damage, brings him down to 1. And then we have that veteran assisting him, who's got 3 attacks on the charge, because it might take him out. And then we have 1. I'll reroll because of the Watchmaster within 6. That still fails. And these are 4s to wound. 1 wound, and I have a 3-up save against that, and I've already used my reroll, but I survived with 1 wound. And now into the Plague Champion, we have a Vanguard vet and 2 regular vets. What do you want to swing with first?
I'll just do the regular vet. Is it... No, it's not the Sergeant hit. Yeah.
6 attacks for the vets. They hit on 3s, re-rolling for the Watchmaster within 6 of them, or in proximity of them to help them out. 5s to wound. We have re-roll the 1, because I'm a troop. And I have a 3-up save against that, which I will make both. And then we have the Vanguard vet, who's got 4 attacks. Because of his lightning claws. Miss. Reroll. Still miss. And then 5s. Rerolling. 5s. 1 wound. Okay. AP2. I have a 5. I pretty much have a 5-up rerollable here. Which I don't need. I'm okay. But
Why are you so tough?
you still have more troops on it than I do, so I have to deal with that whole veteran squad at some point. I mean, maybe him, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4 storm shields in there, so his weapon's not going to be that big of a deal here. Okay, so they swung. Now I get to retaliate with everything. Like, I'm sure I'm glad that all survived, but I'm more upset that he died to that captain. Because I was considering the interrupt, and I'm like, no, there's no way that captain kills my Terminator, and that alone is grinding my gears. That's wild. That is so wild that happened. I was so upset about that. Okay, well, I'm just gonna start with the boring stuff. I'll start over here. I'll do, yeah, whatever. I'll do the sorcerer. Why not? Let's do him. 4 attacks on 3s, 2 death to the false emperors. They have 6 hits. These wound on 4s. Only 2 wounds though. No re-rolling here of any sort. And these are... It's 4 swords, so it's -3 AP, D3 damage.
Okay, we'll start with 1 on a regular vet.
Regular vet.
Vet with the storm shield.
Yeah, storm shield vet. So 3-up and 3-up. He blocks both of them. And then I got my Plague Champion, who's got 3 attacks with a Power Fist. Well, looks like a scythe right now. 1 miss. No debt to the False Emperor, because it's that's technically a 5. And 2s. Both wound, and I assume storm shield vets?
Storm shield vets, yeah.
Alright, so 1 at a time, 3-up, and 3-up. House safe. And that's all she wrote for that. And then I have my Dreadnought attacking your guy. I gotta see how bracketed he is, though. He's kind of suffering. Dreadnought's gonna get 5 attacks. He's bracketed, so he's bracketed enough to be in his lowest bracket, hitting on 4s. But because of your Relic or Warlord Warlord trait. Well, he's the
Warlord. It's the relic.
It's his relic, yeah. So it gives all vehicles -1 to hit. So I hit on 5s. No rerolling. I don't believe I have Death to the False Emperor on him, and I have no way to reroll any of this other stuff. So 2s to wound. Both wound. And I need you to fail both of these for him to die. So, bam. So he'll take 3 damage. Unless you want to reroll it.
One, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, he's got 1 health.
No.
Bam. So that's it for him. And then, well, that's it. We're done, because I'm curious if I could have killed you back. Because if I can't kill you back, then I lose all of my insanely built up rage over this. I can't remember how many attacks I have though. I'm doing this for my sanity. I believe I have 4 attacks. We do not reroll those, and we wound on 2s because we're strength 8. Oh, plague weapon, and then okay, this wouldn't have worked out that well. And then you're 4 up invulnerable, which you would have passed. So you know what? I don't feel that bad. He would not have been able to. I was upset because I would have been able to burn that objective had I survived and killed him. So a lot of things had to work around for me over there. And then that will be it. I don't believe there's any morale to take because he completely annihilated that squad over there. I have a couple of key things still alive, so there's still some hope here. And I am scoring a good amount of points still. So we're going to see what happens in Death Guard turn 3. At the start of my turn, we're going to stay in combat over here because I don't feel like dealing with the Overwatch, which is absolutely awful. And we're going to stay in combat over here because we want to try out some of the new big guns never tire rules where I get to shoot my guns in close combat. As long as they're not blast type weapons, but he doesn't have any blast weapons. And then you. What do you do? I can't Grandfather's Blessing a model back into this unit, which I would have loved to do because I'm wounded. And there's no way I can get that wound back. And you are going to just simply, well, you I know are going to move to here. Because you're going to get in there and try and help out the Sorcerer. Now the Sorcerer, I am actually going to fall back out of combat, but I'm going to keep that Plague Champion in combat.
Clever.
Sorcerer is going to fall back because I don't feel like he needs to die to anything here. And yeah, when we charge, we're going to try our best to go into base to base so I can kind of protect him. And that way I want to smite and everything too. And for this squad over here, I'll just make the 1 Marine stand on top of the rock as well, make room for him. So I have 6 Plague Marines on the rock ready to shoot bolt guns, I guess, while controlling that back objective there. And for scoring, by the way, on my turn, I get this objective, and I do gain this objective because he was lucky enough to stick around, or decided not to fall over like the rest of his Death Shroud brethren. Josh is controlling currently that objective and this objective over here, so I'm going to have to do something about that. It does make the score 4-0 for the Death Guard, because they were able to score... Oh, no, sorry, you should have had 1 point for this. You have 1 point for that, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And you got that on turn 2. It's now time for the Psychic phase. And the Sorcerer better not perils. Very important the Sorcerer does not perils. And I was not going to...
It'd be real cool if he did, though.
No, it would be very cool if he did not do that. Thank you very much. We are going to go ahead and... Yeah, nothing in the Moon phase. We're going to go ahead and open up with Smite. Don't perils. Thank you. We get Smite with a 6 because of our +1. So it's D3 mortal wounds to that unit. They're going to suffer 3 mortal wounds. Alright. So what happens to this unit? What is the plan? Does the Terminator die? Or do you lose a couple Storm Shield, Stormbolter dudes?
As much as, yeah, see, I want the, I would rather you have not done that. So we're going to kill the Terminator.
Terminator's
as
dead.
well as 1 random guy with a
There's 2
Storm
here.
Shield, yeah.
So keep that guy there.
We'll kill one of the, we'll kill Frank Cannon.
This one's within 6 of him, so not him, I assume.
Yeah, the one that's closest to your dude, man. Yeah, him.
Alrighty then. Makes his charge a little bit harder. We're going to go ahead and do Blades of Putrefaction on him. Don't perils. Oh, close. Alright, that gives him +1. I don't need the +1 wound, so actually no, the +1 wound does help him quite a bit. And then I would be able to do mortal wounds on wound rolls of technically 7+. That's it for the Psyche phase. We're going to go on to shooting, where I'm going to see if he's got a bolt pistol, and I'll shoot it if he does. I can never really remember which like basic tacticals get to keep their bolt pistols or which ones they have to swap out. Currently has a bolt gun and a power fist. He does not have a bolt pistol, though he could swap out his bolt gun for a bolt pistol if he wanted to. I chose not to, obviously. And now we get to see, we're going to do these guys, get them out of the way. We're just going to do this 12 bolt gun shots into these veterans over here. But before I go any further, I do have to apply Nurgle's Gift to that unit. They started my turn within 1 inch of one of my Death Guard units that was within 7 inches of this character. It's called Nurgle's Gift, and on a 4-up they take a mortal wound. There, they would have taken 1 more mortal wound at the start of my turn, which probably would have gone on the Terminator, I assume. Actually, I don't know. but one more guy dies, essentially.
What we'll do is we'll pull... Oh, I should have pulled myself into combat in retrospect. Let's go ahead and we will kill another frag cannon off.
Well, let's put it this way. You take this one first, so I'll let you... So you would have known this would have happened before the 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just kill another frag cannon off for me. We're good.
You want to keep the guy within 6 over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we do the 12 shots over here. These hit on 3s. No re-rolling. Wound on 4s. Okay, got 2 wounds. Good old bolt guns. And these are 3-up saves. We kill 1. So that's the sergeant there. Just any one of these 4?
Yeah, any of the other guys is fine.
And now we get to do the big guns never tire thing. So pretty much vehicles get to shoot their guns if they're locked up in combat. They can even shoot them into things they're engaged with. They shoot them normally, though if I recall, it is -1 to hit if you go ahead and fire a heavy weapon while engaged.
Yes.
That's correct. That's how that works. Okay. Now, the ectoplasma gun is an assault weapon, so that's just going to be firing at the normal BS of 4, down to 5 because of his relic. And then the assault cannon is -2, so it hits on 6s. But, you know, we're still going to fire everything into the Watchmaster. We'll start with the carries. That hits on 6s, no rerolling. And then the plasma hits on 5s. And 1s and 2s could potentially kill me here. Well, I can only ever take 1 from this, so I won't die. So that's a mortal wound to me because that's -1 to hit, and that becomes a 1. And that is a hit on you. So this will wound on a 2.
Okay.
2 to wound. It does wound. And you have a 4-up save, which you will fail.
I will use the once per game reroll on that.
And that comes from his warlord trait?
Correct.
Yeah, 4-up. You make it. Dang it. Okay, that's very good, very good. He's going to be A-okay. And then... That's...
You do a mortal wound?
I do take my mortal wound. I go down to 6. And then, that brings it over to... That's it. That's it for shooting. It's charging time. Lord of Contagion is going to declare charge against these veterans here. No Overwatch for them. He's going to charge 12. Nice. He is going to stick near this objective, though. So he's just going to charge to right there.
Okay.
In fact, I actually forgot I was going to move this guy a little bit. So it's about 3 there. And then he's going to get to this rock here. I'm going to be a little bit reckless with him because I think he's just going to die to shooting. So he might as well try and take these guys out. And then he's going to throw his flamer into them. He's not the champion because the champion was killed, so it's 1 automatic hit that does wound. I get to reroll the 1 because it's a plague weapon, and I do no damage with it. And now it is charging.
You wanted to keep rolling dice until it succeeded.
Yeah. He's going to charge into them, and I assume 10 Hellfire shots back at me.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah. Come on, buddy. Be a hero. I'm hitting up points for you. You got to do it. You got to do it. We got lots of hits. He's probably dead. But you know what? All in the... He's not a troop, so these all wound, and these are AP2. 4-ups. And I need to make all of these, and he's dead. Now, to be fair, I already got the point for him, and he was going to be dead no matter what. Now, the only downside is that Josh doesn't have to worry about dealing with him. He'll just die on my terms. Try and get the sorcerer into combat as well. It's kind of a longer charge. And you know what? It's probably not the best idea. He's only got 1 wound, but at this point, why not? 11 inches. Heck yeah, in he goes.
They're so eager for combat.
They are very eager, but the question is, where does he go? Does he want to go that way? I think he's just going to commit over to this way. It's a little bit safer. He's going to end up fighting over here as a sorcerer. And then I will go ahead with my Lord of Contagion first and foremost, because he charged. I just got to figure out how many attacks he has. And if I bother... I'm thinking about using veterans on him just because he has... Blades of Putrefaction on him, so that means every time I roll a 5+ to wound, it's a mortal wound in addition to his normal damage. It's just a good way to try and get through these stupid invulnerable saves. Or to at least get me to them a little bit faster. I may have said he's got a Plague Reaper. That's because I typically give him that weapon. I actually forgot to upgrade him this time, and I'm already at 1,000 points, so he's got a Man Reaper. The only difference is, it's Strength 7 instead of Strength 6, like this weapon he has now, but it's D3 damage instead of flat 3. And I don't think the flat 3 is going to matter all that much more for the rest of the
game. Difference.
Yeah, so he's got his 5 attacks with his Man Reaper, which is his built-in weapon. Hitting on 2s, and I am going to Veterans of the Long War this just to try and eke out a few more mortal wounds, essentially trying to get lucky here. We hit on 2s. Nice, that was the hard part. That was the part I was concerned about, because we have +2 to wound currently, and we're at Strength 7, so we wound on 1s, but 1s always fail. And we get to re-roll that because it's a plague weapon. So we have... You take 2 mortal wounds right now, and then 5 saves. So where are these 2 mortal wounds going?
Okay, we'll kill off the frag cannon.
He goes down.
You said 2 mortal wounds?
Yeah, 1 more mortal wound.
We'll kill off that poor Sarge.
Sergeant goes down. Not a bad call.
And then there was how many saves?
5 saves. All I have to do is 2 at a time, I assume, for the storm shields.
Yeah.
So 2 at a time. Good on those. 1 guy dies, and then there's one storm shield left. He's alive. So I assume we want to keep those 2 alive.
Yep.
I'm not gonna bother consolidating. Well, these guys are dead. I'm typically happy. Pretty happy with where he is. He's near the obscuring terrain, so things over there can't shoot at him. He's also a character. He's got that going. He's on the objective, so he's happy as can be. Now the sorcerer, he charged. He gets to pile in, but nothing's within 4 inches of him to actually fight with. So I guess we'll consolidate there, and then I actually don't know. I don't want to be brought into combat because I only got the 1 wound. We're gonna go. I guess we're just gonna go. Oh, do I do it? No, we're gonna stay an inch away. We're just gonna go there.
Okay.
A non-charge relic, which would be the Dreadnought. I'm hitting on 5s because of your relic, and I only have 4 attacks because the charge is long done. Long done is the charge. We got 1 hit though. That's important. 2 to wound. That is a wound, and then a 4-up invulnerable save. He is not.
Am I gonna blow my last command point on this?
You have 1 more command point for a 4-up invulnerable. That's a warlord though. No, that's not your warlord. That's not even a point for me. Well, I don't know.
That's not warlord. But I mean, like, I want him to be alive. I will blow the command point here, sure.
All right, so do you want me to roll for his invuln save first, or the 5-up?
Invuln save first.
Invulnerable save first. All right, here we go. He is alive and well, and on a 5-up, you do not. So you're out of command points, but he's still kicking with 1 wound. And then that's it for my attack. So you get to fight over there and over here. Which one first?
Yes. The obvious smart choice of the veterans.
The veterans, okay. I totally forgot about this Plague Champion that can still fight, who seems to, so far, be lucky against Lightning Claws. Do we want to start with the Lightning Claws or do the vet first?
We'll start with the Lightning Claws. Maybe that's been my problem the whole time.
Okay. 3 attacks because of no shock assault. So he's done. a little too far away for rerolls. We have 2 attacks from the regular vet into him. We hit both times. Watch him do it. 5's to wound. Reroll the 1 because I'm a troop.
Yes, good call.
Okay, no. So he does persevere. He is growing strong as Death Guard. He's going to retaliate. He's got 2 attacks back with a Power Fist. They both hit, and they wound on 2s. They both wound, and you have a 3-up invulnerable save. I assume. You want to do that?
Yeah, you got to roll the first one.
And then he dies. No command points to reroll it. This is looking like a pretty sketchy morale check.
How many guys did I lose? Oh no, I got my guy to swing.
Yeah, so you have that 1 remaining vet, and I think you had a full squad of 10 this turn. I can always double check the clips at the beginning of the turn to confirm that.
It was an 8-man squad to start with.
So 8-man squad, yeah. So I think you lost 7. So on a 1, you're good. But you got they shall know no fear. Now he gets to fight. Do you just want to do the more wounds to see if you hit him?
We'll just do the mortal wound thing, yeah.
Alright, so on a 2-up, it's like a digital laser. It's like an extra attack he has with the relic on a 2-up.
I think the special clavis, technically.
What is a clavis? Is that a claw? What is a clavis?
It's the weird thing on his arm.
Oh, like the weird apothecary looking thing? Like the Narcissium looking thing? I noticed that earlier. I'm like, what is that? It's like a weird little device.
For killing vehicles, I guess.
So it hits and it does this many more wounds. And it does enough to kill him. I'm going to spend a command point on Putrid Detonation. Does a D3 more wounds to everything nearby him.
You monster.
So they just trade. But it costs me a command point, I go down to 2. Which I think is worth. At least I don't feel like dealing with that guy anymore. But he was able to take out this guy. How many points is he worth? Because he did pretty well.
He's still fairly expensive. I think he's 115.
Okay, so yeah, this guy's like 141. But I think he did his. I think he did good justice. This guy here.
He did pretty good. Yeah.
He did.
He looks awesome.
He does look awesome. I like his little base. Someone did this. Someone gave you this. I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a whole big story behind all the Deathwatch, and yeah, that was part of the first batch of like fully painted guys.
Yeah, I remember when you got him too, and I'm like, I was very impressed with him. And yeah, all right, so good trade there. Maybe for you, well, obviously for me because he would have been running around on his own otherwise. I'm gonna roll the explosion just because I'm curious. No, okay, good thing I popped it. After that comes the morale phase. Now it's my turn, I have to do any of mine first, but I'm pretty much just down to single characters and single models other than this one unit who is just not really been targeted whatsoever. We're gonna go ahead and roll for your morale on that Vanguard, that veteran squad. They lost 6 or 7 models this time. We're gonna roll and figure it out. I think they're good. I think he's okay. Even if he lost 7 models, he's good no matter what. I don't lower your bravery, or sorry, I don't lower your leadership in any way, so he's good. Dang, I was really hoping he'd run. Oh wow, never mind. He's doubly good. And now for the Deathwatch, they do get 2 victory points. Captain on the back objective, and these veterans on that objective still. That one is contested for now. Now, oh man. He can fall back and shoot, but not fall back and charge, right? Is that what the Vanguard vets do?
Correct.
It's the bikes that fall back and charge.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't have to worry. Like, he could fall back and throw a grenade at me or something on my sorcerer, but like, I need my sorcerer right now. He's pretty important.
And here we go. So set up to try to. I don't know. I think I've got you mostly dabbed, but you got me on point, so I gotta be smart about this.
Right, I got like 2 threatening characters left, and that's about it.
Right. So I think we're gonna start off by, if you would be so kind as to tell me the range and line of sight options for my veterans with stalker bolters on top of the rock.
Ah, yes, quite. So these veterans here, they have good range to take out that sorcerer, though he will be behind the obscured piece of terrain here. Or at least they're going to be drawing line of sight through the piece of terrain, so he is actually safe from their shots. But he is not. And he won't have cover either, he's kind of out in the open. So, where do you want to begin?
I think we're going to start with the intercessors. They are going to go ahead and advance to grab that one objective.
Well, they don't have to advance to grab it if they don't want to. They can just move up 6.
Okay. I can't.
And their move there, we are near the objective, and 3 of them are going to be able to take shots at those Plague Marines with the increased range rounds. Kraken, I believe. Alright, so they're there. I assume they're going to stay still, and the captain's going to stay still.
Yes.
And now we have the Corvus.
The Corvus is going to drop down in a hover mode and basically go into that back corner there to shoot at that Plague Marine squad.
Oh, he's going to fly back here? All right.
Yeah.
So, hover mode, and then turn around.
If there's such a way that I can make sure I fly over them, that would be adorable.
What's this move?
But hover mode, it's like 20.
Oh, okay, well that should be no problem. You just kind of like, we'll just say you clip one of them when you move over, that should be no problem at all. And then we're going to roll 66, and then every 6 plus is a mortal wound, if I recall.
You got it.
Alright, do the bombs get them? Oh wow, 2 of the bombs might. I have Disgusting Resilience. 1 of the bombs get them, so we're going to lose you.
I think it's right over to shooting now, so let's do veterans shooting at that sorcerer, because this one will make me happy, hopefully.
Yeah, it's very likely it'll kill him. What kind of round are we thinking? Oh,
I'm going to hit him with the Hellfire, I think, because he's T5.
No, he's only T4. He's just a regular chaos guy. Yeah.
Ooh. Actually, it depends on what range I got to him. Because I can only fire Hellfires out to 30.
Okay, you're going to need the Kraken then.
Okay,
yeah.
Kraken it is.
Kraken it is. They all hit except 1. And Force to Wound with AP 2 because they're still in the tactical doctrine. We have that many wounding hits, and that's going to give me a 5-up save. I have to make all of these for him to survive. I do not. What a surprise. He is dead.
Down the line, the intercessors do have some long bomb shots onto the Plague Marine, so let's try it.
I guess it's only 3 because they moved. So we're going to be firing at them with Kraken rounds. We hit twice, and we wound on 5s. Okay.
Yes.
We are okay.
Oh. Try the Corvus next. Yeah, putting all the shots into them. Let's do the missiles first.
Missiles! 2 shots. You ignore moving, firing heavy. You get to reroll hit rolls of 1 against things that don't fly, so things on the ground. They both hit. And 3s to him because I'm T5. He doesn't get mission tactics, does he? No.
He doesn't, no.
Okay.
Okay, fine. The Hurricane Bolter.
3s to hit.
Yeah, 3s, really 1s.
Reroll that. It helps.
Wounding on 5s.
We've got 3. And it's got AP 1 because we are in the tactical doctrine. I am in cover though, so back to a 3-up. And we're okay.
Assault Cannon.
Here we go. Well, here's lots of 1s to reroll. Accuracy. Okay. Alright. A little bit more accurate. And these are 3s to him because, assault cannons. Only AP 1 though. Not rerolling that. Ooh, that's pretty bad. For me.
I think it's pretty good.
That's bad for me. 3-up save. Okay, that's good for me. And Disgusting Resilience stops none. I do lose 2 more. But. You know what? I gotta keep him because of that objective. We're gonna lose you instead.
A little bit better. Stalker bolters into them. Let's hit them with some Hellfire rounds.
Hellfire rounds. It's gonna be 8 shots because I hurt them a wee bit. Breeze to hit. Oh, very accurate. 2s, 2, and rerolling 1s because I am a troop choice. There you go. That helped quite a bit, and that's 8.
Nice little bit of reroll action there.
A little bit of AP1. So 3 up save. Ooh, resilience. Dang, I lose 2 more. Well, I think I have to keep that one guy on the objective, but my morale is going to be kind of poopy now. But that objective is worth it, so they go down.
All right, now the most exciting thing that's been totally effective against him, Lightning Claw.
Here come the claws. Can I survive, I think, 4 times against claws?
4 rounds of it? No!
It's a good start. 5 up to wound, re-rolling because they're lightning claws. That does wound. Ah, crap, here we go, the hard part. I have a 5 up re-roll wall. Oh, I make it again! Right.
I hate those stupid Plague Marines.
You've done a wonderful job of killing them, though. Like that.
It's true.
It's that one guy you hate. He's got 2 attacks back with a power fist. He hits twice naturally. I do not get death to the false. I do not get a death to the false emperor on that. I wound a couple more times there. And you want me to re-roll those dice again for that double 6?
No, we're all those 2 you just picked up. Those are the double 6s in your hands.
No, he's dead. That's him dead.
Yeah, he's pretty dead.
All right. Nice. And then for consolidation, the nearest enemy is probably towards me, so I don't think it's going to really matter. I'm just going to go and try and... I'm just going to end there. You know what? That's a point for me, and that's all that matters to me. And after that, before we go on to my turn, we have a morale check over here. I lost 5 Plague Marines, including the Sergeant. So, that means I'm leadership 7 on that one remaining Plague Marine, and I do need him to stick around for him to get me that point, because that point could make the difference between a loss or a win. So a 1 or 2 and he sticks around. Last command, I'm debating. I think it's worth the last command point to see if he sticks around. He doesn't, he boogies.
Oh.
Alright, so that does deny me a point, and I'm going to have these 2 points on my turn. And with that, failing there, I probably would have kept going if I had the one guy, but when he died there, I'm going to be getting 2 victory points at the start of my turn 4. I mean, that will put me to 6 to Josh's 3, but then Josh is going to immediately get 3 points on his turn. I have no way to stop any of this. I don't have any... He's too slow. He's just one guy. He's too slow. Like, I honestly just have 2 models left. So, Josh, you take the win. You showed up on turn 2, devastated me to no recovery, albeit you gave up a little bit of the objectives right away, but then you were able to secure them later on. Again, my biggest upset was what happened over there. I wanted to kill him. If I could have killed him and had those guys still standing, that would have been a different... I think, for me, that's where it mostly changed. Over here was all pretty... What should have happened. Yeah, like it was like Deathwatch should show up and annihilate stuff. I mean, granted, they take a pretty big hit in return. They're not the most defensive army in the game, but they can hit like a truck. And
yeah, there's a lot of offensive power, and I mean, like, I think I played it extra risky because it made sense to with the squad and the charges that they made.
Yeah.
And not being able to overwatch some of these guys, because I mean, taking 66 automatic hits tends to kill stuff when it goes to charge you.
Yeah, exactly. And it wiped up this squad nice and good. I was able to have him, like, I was confident he was going to be able to, as long as I didn't have to charge into the fried cannons and I could have kept them tied up, I was confident he'd be able to help me get through, especially with a little bit of psychic support. And he was able to take out, I think, 2 guys with mortal wounds. And then that was enough to kind of chew through the rest of the unit, or help chew through the rest of the unit. Meanwhile, back here, my Death Shroud Terminators were an utter disappointment. It's not like Josh got really good dice or whatever. It's just they kind of healed over and died. It's like I think my saves were typically a little worse on them than they usually are. I can usually put a lot of value in them and the fact that they'll survive. That's why I was confident putting them down here. But they just it's too. I was also not used to I didn't expect the Hellfire rounds. I forgot about them in a little way. I still would have put them down there, hoping they'd survive. Yeah. But I'm used to them being. Like, even, like, Plasma's not that effective against them a lot of the time. And, like, people are a little... They have second thoughts in shooting at them. But when you have guys that are just wounding on 2s, it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. They're not shooting anything else. Shoot at them, and you get some good value out of it. So it's
yeah, I mean, the Plasma does more damage, more AP, but it doesn't wound as reliably. So I think, yeah, you're probably just not used to having to make that many saves with Death Guard. Right?
I'm not... Yeah, that's exactly it. It's usually like, okay, well, 5 plasma shots at me. They're all supercharged. I'm only really making 2 saves, whereas these guys are throwing like 10 dice and I'm making like 8 saves or 6 saves or something wild, and it's just like, it's just over the top for the Death Guard. They're not quite built for that. They're meant to like reduce the amount of saves they have to make, and then ideally just roll well enough on those saves, or just like, you know, win through attrition. But you guys are able to hammer me down pretty well, and I mean that's what Deathwatch do. That's what they like to do. They like to show up with a flare, and then try to, you know, it's like surgical strikes, right? You want to make sure you go for that area there, take out that unit, take out that unit, take out that unit, and it worked out really well. You got rid of both those threats, and you granted they all died when they showed up, but they were able to do enough damage to make it so I couldn't retaliate back, and I wouldn't be able to take them off that objective, and there's no way for me to get to that captain either. And that's pretty much it. So that's a good game to Josh. It is a Deathwatch victory. It'll be a victory on turn 5, technically, is when he would take the lead on points. I couldn't, and you know what? I'm even too slow to get line breaker, whereas Josh could get line breaker with like these guys if you just simply.
Yeah, I could have got line breaker, and no matter what you did with those 2 Marines, like they could have hunkered on objectives and just got shot at by a Corvus Blackstar for a couple turns.
Yeah, like albeit he didn't do. I don't think he did too much this game, but he would eventually like where he would at least he's got to kill that one Marine. Like he's at some point he's got to be able to kill that one Marine with a couple more like at least a couple more turns of shooting. And then, you know, he might be durable enough. Like, this is the first time that I've had that Warlord trait on a character that hasn't actually been able to really get stuck in that bad. I typically bring a Demon Prince who's able to get around a lot more with that 4-up to ignore damage and make him a lot more relevant. Whereas he kind of showed up today. He did a mortal wound with his Gift of Nurgle, and he helped clear out that unit, which is fine and everything, but I feel like even the Sorcerer did a little bit more than he did. So for a Warlord, didn't really do too much for me. And then other than that, I was kind of happy with the Dreadnought and the Watchmaster fight there. And it's just been a long time since I fought the Deathwatch, so it's kind of good to see something, I guess in a way that's a Marine but not Marine. It feels like Marines, but it's a lot riskier Marines, and you know what? I like their gusto. Anyways, folks.
You gotta play them, I don't know, like, obviously I'm not a tournament player, but like, playing kind of this way, like you gotta be so aggressive with them compared to what I'm normally used to. And
these are the old school Marines too, where they only have 1 wound, a 3-up save, and then they're done. That's why you try to, you know, the Storm Shields aren't that expensive, and the Storm Bolters are like, that's a good build. Storm Bolter, Storm Shield, very effective, right?
It's a fantastic build, and I tried to stick with the models that I owned and not, you know, do any weird, well, this guy's gonna really have that instead of this sort of thing.
Oh, gotcha. Like, how much is a veteran? Is he 17 or is he less than 17 now?
I will check. They're 15 points a model.
So a Storm Bolt or Storm Shield, they should be 19?
Or actually, no, it might be less than that. Veterans are 14 points a model.
Okay. So it's only 2
and
more.
The Stalker Bolt Gun upgrade on them is only 1 point.
Okay, so the Stalker on them. Is the Storm Shield and the Storm Bolter still 2 points per?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 18 points per veteran with like this, what I consider a really good build, the Storm Shield, Storm Bolter, as opposed to a regular Marine who is 12 points. It's pretty worth it. They get the extra attack, they get the special issue ammo. They have, like, you know, Storm Bolters that are wounding on 2s, and the Tactical Doctrine with AP1. Just having access to the doctrines is a great addition, I think. Yeah, because you're able to, like, wounding on 2s with AP. Yeah, wounding on 2s with AP I think is really powerful across the board. Anyways, folks, I guess we'll end it there because we could ramble forever, but I mean, you have to eventually get back to your day. That is a Scorched Earth victory for Josh without actually scorching any of my Earth, and I didn't scorch any of his either. It never really came up. It was close though, very close. I almost got that one. That could have been a big deciding factor over there. Again, that's gonna haunt me for the rest of the night. I'm gonna go warm up some food and just grumble, I guess, solemnly to myself as I am upset that my dang Death Shroud Terminator couldn't carry me to victory like they usually do, and I didn't have my Demon Prince either. Oh, I rely too heavily on that.
I mean, on the plus side, you, like, one of your Death Shroud almost got the chance to swing.
Yes, it was very close. You're right. These guys over here, that one guy almost made a charge, only to get gunned down by intercessors. See you guys next time. As always, happy wargaming. Josh and I are set up for our second game in the MiniWarGaming Vault. It's going to be the Emperor's Children versus more of the Deathwatch. If you want to check out this game, click on the link below to get yourself a 7-day free trial to the Vault. As always, happy wargaming, everybody.